I scraped the web in the search of finding the most data-driven ranking of all the Star Wars films ever. This includes all the spin-offs such as Rogue One and Solo. I took data from IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, and Letterboxd. And once brought together, these are the results I got. Now, this movie is somewhat of an honorable mention. Like I said, I did include everything, but this is more of just a pilot for the very famous TV show. I believe it just gathered 3 episodes and pretty much put into one to kind of kick off the season. And it only had a budget of $8.5 million, and in return, it made $68.3 million at the box office. Hard to complain. I mean, it did turn into an amazing show that I've seen all the way through, that I know it's one of the best Star Wars pieces of media, I think, of all time. It's sad how the movie to start it all off, and even the first season's like not that strong. But again, more of an honorable mention. It is the lowest by far at about a 45%, and it has one of the lowest reviews like individually that I could find at 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Clearly just not a big fan of this movie. So it's almost been 6 years since our last Star Wars film, and sadly, it was one of the worst ones ever. I saw this one in theaters, like I imagine a lot of people, and if I were to give it a good moment, I would say the spoilers, that like when they all come in on their ships at the very end. I definitely got some goosebumps during that. I'm just a person. I love callbacks, but that's really the only thing I remember like of good quality, and just overall a really messy film. It rewrites everything the previous film did. Clearly there was no coordination amongst this trilogy. I mean, somehow he returns. They fly now. Like, all of that stuff just shows they were grasping at straws with all of this. And yeah, just overall forgettable, bad, and just shows a complete lack of thought behind where they wanted to do and where they wanted to go. All these, why did they even change directors like this and like not have a like someone behind the scenes telling them the greater scheme of what to do? Because bringing Palpatine back was just such an odd choice. And I will say the popcorn meter helped a lot with this one at an 86%. I guess there are, it's probably the audience that felt the same as me. It's like got kind of goosebumps. They love callbacks, you know. Oh, Palpatine, I remember that. But most of the other reviews are very low, like the Clone Wars.
Now this is pod racing.
We're starting early, but this might be the first hot take, lukewarm take for the data, but I would still say arguably bad in comparison to the other films at the very least. Obviously, Phantom Menace, it's got the final battle scene, a classic that everybody loves. It's got some memes here and there, you know, now this is pod racing, and I can speak to the prequels pretty good because I rewatched them all recently, but the Phantom Menace is really boring. I was surprised how boring it was because it wasn't one of my least favorite for a long time. I thought my judgment was definitely clouded by the final battle and Maul and everything, and Qui-Gon. Like, there's good aspects, like most, I mean, Star Wars is just a cool franchise, but this one just was so, and Jar Jar, like how it's so rough with Jar Jar. And it's just extremely boring. I think that's where a lot of these Star Wars films lose the general audience, is like, you know, it's Star Wars, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be crazy, it's supposed to be, you know, the sci-fi adventure. Why are you putting so much boring, just nothing that matters nonsense?
I don't like Sam.
I want to preface by saying I was an adamant hater of this movie. I thought this was the worst one by far. I've had arguments about it because I had a friend that really, well, he liked it more than most. He thought this was one of the better ones in comparison to all of Star Wars, but I thought it was one of the worst. However, after rewatching it, like I said, and seeing the Phantom Menace, crazy, but I think it might be better than Phantom Menace. And this is just the data. I didn't really make this ranking. I'm just a messenger, but I kind of agree with this. I think Attack of the Clones is slightly better. Like the last film, a lot of very boring aspects. The dialogue is going to be rough. I don't like sand, you know. Everything people have already said that's terrible about this movie. But I think the ending is very strong. Like the arena fighting Dooku, spoilers, I guess, but it has a very strong ending in comparison to Phantom Menace, which also has a strong ending. I think this one goes a step further in that department. Plus him going to find his mom and everything, very powerful. It just, in its second half, it does some really cool things that I think puts it a little bit ahead. Again, I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Oh, and the bounty hunter was pretty cool, even though, you know, logically it doesn't make a lot of sense what they're doing. And Jango Fett's bombs going off, sound. The clones are all pretty cool as well. Pretty shoddy CGI, but again, that's kind of a case with all the prequels. There's definitely things I love about this movie, and I think I would agree with this ranking. I'd be curious about everybody else though, because again, I'd be right in the field of like, no, this should be one of the dead last. Now, this is definitely one of the most different Star Wars films. I don't have too much to say about it. I have seen it a couple times, but I think that's the most, it's just kind of forgettable, I think, with Star Wars movies. It was good. I would put it somewhere towards the middle like this. Definitely wasn't bad. It had some good acting. I mean, I love Childish Gambino. And, you know, it's a fun movie. It's a fun heist movie. It's not doing anything for me particularly like Star Wars wise. And does Han Solo really need a backstory? It's kind of almost a little bit better for this mysterious character to stay mysterious, but it's fun, forgettable, but fun. And one, I do need to rewatch it. It is on my watch list. Well, a lot of these are on my rewatch list, but especially this one because it's the one I can't give much input into. Now, this is a very divided film, to say the least. I came out of this when I did see it in theaters. I enjoyed it at the moment. I still remember actively enjoying it when I came out of theaters. I was less of a critic back then, less into film analysis. I know, crazy nerd, but I was, just like, oh, that was a fun movie. But then when I came back and I I watched some like video breakdowns and just like how terrible, how it didn't make any sense. Like, this isn't Star Wars. Now my brain is permanently scarred, I guess. Like, I can't go back to enjoying this movie personally, but I can see where the split reviews come from. Like, the Rotten Tomatoes, very high, 91%. The Metacritic, 84%. So the critics at the time, they enjoyed this movie. But then everything else that's like user scores, so Letterboxd, Metacritic user score, popcorn meter, even IMDb is all pretty low. So clearly the fans did not feel as strongly towards this movie as the critics. Critics, of course, in quotation marks, because movies are an opinion-based analysis. But yeah, I feel like with this movie, they try to have some fun with it. Clearly there was no management behind the scenes telling them where to go, so Rian Johnson was just like, hey, let's have some fun. I thought the Lightspeed thing was cool. I thought the gambling planet was fun. Now that I see like how none of that makes any sense in the Star Wars universe, which it's already Star Wars, let's calm down. But anyways, they try to have a little fun, and the Star Wars fans got very mad about it. Though I do acknowledge the love relationship with like Rose and Finn is cringe. It's terrible, but yeah, I think very divided. I think there's things to love about it. Maybe my theory, going on a little tangent, I think these movies seen in a better light later on. Same with the prequels. Prequels very much hated, but now my generation that grew up on them, watched them, and love them a lot more. I think there's more of a corporate Disney to it that maybe they won't be as loved later on. But I think this one and the other one that I will get to at some point is going to be seen with better eyes in the future. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Revenge of the Sith was a massive jump in quality for me when it came to the prequels when I rewatched it. Like, I was starting to lose some faith that I have been totally clouded by nostalgia when I started rewatching these movies. But Revenge of the Sith, I still think holds up to a degree. Like, this pains me a little bit because it was my favorite Star Wars movie forever. I mean, I love this movie. After rewatching it twice, one at home and then it got re-released in theaters, there's definitely things not to, it's the same problems. Overabundance of pretty shoddy CGI, not great dialogue, acting pretty hit or miss depending who you're looking at. But my lord, I mean, the final battle, the choreography, I mean, him turning evil and everything, like, even the intro is better than most prequel scenes. Like, it is, I think, a good Star Wars film at the very least. It's very Star Wars. George Lucas, he locked in. He locked in for this one a lot more, but still a prequel film. Again, it pains me, but I think this might be an appropriate ranking from the data.
Turn off the flash, you fucking moron!
Now, I think this might be our next hot take. Again, these are all interchangeable, and I'm just a messenger, but it's definitely getting helped a lot by its 93% Rotten Tomatoes score, which I don't know why Rotten Tomatoes loves these Disney movies so much, but I mean, again, it's decent reviews across the board, and it's hard to go wrong because The Force Awakens, like most realize now, is kind of a copycat of A New Hope, which is a fantastic movie. So it's like, it's hard to mess up. My apologies. Not that word. And it's just, I mean, I get it. It was 10 years of no Star Wars films, lots and lots and lots of hype. They were bringing back, I mean, everything everybody grew up on, and they loved, returning actors and everything. It was a cultural moment for anybody that it's in this field. Not my wife, because she's never seen a Star Wars movie, but for me, it was, whoa, Force Awakens, another Star Wars movie. That's pretty cool. And I think that must have driven some of the ratings behind it. Again, it was Abrams. It can be a good director when he tries. Clearly not in the very last Disney movie, but he did try for Force Awakens, because I imagine there was a lot more pressure with this one. I mean, they bought Lucasfilms for billions of dollars, so it kind of had to work. And yeah, I mean, the hype did pay off. It made over like $2 billion. If this ranking was just purely off of the Bill Russell championships box office numbers type of ranking, it would be number one by far in both normal Star Wars like box office numbers and also adjusted for inflation, which I think it made like 2.6 billion adjusted for inflation. The hype was crazy. Not a terrible film either. Okay, this has a very close rating to Force Awakens, but it did barely get a little bit better. So, and I think it's appropriate. It's a lot of people's favorite, Rogue One is. It's a lot more different, obviously. It's not, you know, the Skywalker saga. It's another spin-off. And it's very, it's more Andor coded, where it's a little more gritty, a little more war-based, but a fantastic movie. A very, like, a good movie on its own, but also to Star Wars. I personally didn't love it. I've never really understood the hype around Rogue One. It's, again, another movie I probably got to rewatch. But I love that people love this, and that a spin-off I did pretty good when it came to reviews. And I mean, that last Vader scene, I mean, that's pretty crazy. That's one of the best scenes in Star Wars history. Okay, top 3. I don't know if you're paying attention, but now we're kind of getting into the nostalgia territory of these last 3 films. And if you haven't been paying attention, I guess you will about to see what I mean. I am honestly a little surprised this was so high. I mean, it has the pros that I'll get into in a second, but like, it definitely has some problems, and I've heard a lot of talk of these problems. So I knew it would be high. I mean, it's the original trilogy. It's pretty high for one that isn't entirely loved by most. But I guess, what am I talking about? This is the data. So I guess it is loved by most, except for Metacritic, which has it at a 58%. I think that's where the crowd I'm seeing. It doesn't I mean, going from Empire, you know, come from that like super high quality film. But like, number 3, I do get it. You know, it's wrapping up almost like a perfect trilogy. One of the greatest trilogies. I won't say the, but one of the greatest trilogies of all time. It's got cool scenes, you know. It has the Ewoks, you know, hit or miss, but I like the Ewoks. And just the final scene, I mean, the final battle, the relationship between Vader and Luke, it wrapped it up. It wrapped up one of the biggest cultural phenomenons of our generation, multiple generations. It's hard to be like, no, this is a bad movie, unless it was truly bad. I guess like Godfather Part 3 or something. But yeah, I think if it just didn't have like a lot of the weird CGI choices for later releases, I think this would universally be more loved. Obviously, there are other aspects that are bad, but for me personally, just seeing the really ugly CGI, like the singing alien thing, like, it's just not good. Not good choices from George. I don't know how this is possible, but there is a tie for number 1 and 2, like down to the last decimal point, 89.833333333. And I guess it's only appropriate because these are 2 of the most loved Star Wars films of all time, and they're good movies. Like, how can you not put these at 1 and 2, honestly? I mean, A New Hope rated Star Wars. It is Star Wars. George Lucas made this in a cave with a box of scraps. I mean, what are we even talking about here? There's some of the most iconic scenes in history, the lines, the characters. It's Star Wars. It's how do you not put this at 1 or 2? And I would probably argue at 2, because Empire, I think, considered by most at this point. Again, I was in the field of Revenge of the Sith being number 1, but I've grown up. I'm an adult now. I can see that Empire is the best one. And it does have the highest individual review at 97% from the popcorn meter. And again, like, how can it not? What do I even say about Empire and A New Hope that hasn't been said? These are absolute classics. These are the reasons that everyone loves Star Wars. The music, the relationships, okay, that's a little bit of a weird part. But everything is just amazing. Though I did want to break the tie. So to break the tie, I did include, and maybe I should have done this in the beginning, but I kind of forgot it existed. I included the Google audience scores. I'm not even 100% sure, but I included both the audience scores, which is out of 5, and then also did you like this, which I think is just a yes or a no, kind of like how Rotten Tomatoes works. And when you put that in, Empire does get first place with a 91%, and A New Hope getting 90%. So it squeaked it out by 1%. So the ultimate ranking would be Empire, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, The Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, The Last Jedi, Solo, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, Rise of the Skywalker, and then in last place, The Clone Wars, but truly in last place, The Rise of the Skywalker, because that destroyed Star Wars, and now we're just getting slop TV shows on Disney Plus year after year. Bring us more Star Wars, that's good.